welcome to
Hi.
Movie Crunch. What?
You interrupted me.
I thought you took too long.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Whatever.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Movie Crunch.
Hello there.
Hey.
We're back.
Yes.
Today, this is our special Halloween episode of Movie Crunch today.
Yes. Special spooky Halloween episode.
Today, we're doing Psycho. I'm Nate Schaffner.
I'm Hannah Sutter.
And I'm Edward Nigma. No, I'm Eric O'Donnell.
The Riddler in a Raincoat.
Did he say smigma?
I might have.
It's possible.
It's possible.
But yeah, we're doing Psycho today.
The
Directed-
classic Alfred Hitchcock.
Classic
movie.
Alfred
A
Hitchcock.
la 1960.
Yes, God.
Yes.
So old.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
We
beautiful.
hesitated to choose this movie because it's maybe a little bit obvious, but there's a reason. It's a classic.
Yes, it is.
It is classic.
Yeah, and though I don't think this one's as obvious as Halloween would be. Like,
No.
just the straight
Or like
Halloween.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
You want to go a little farther back.
A
Yeah.
little bit farther back, because we're a fan of old cinema. We're a fan of the older cinema. So we need to talk about how great this movie is for those of you who haven't
Yeah,
seen
Alfred Hitchcock was like the master of horror, and
it. Suspense, too.
Yeah, and
Horror suspense.
I was watching an interview with Anthony Hopkins, and Anthony Hopkins said that like Alfred Hitchcock was once asked, why do we like being scared? And he said, what's the first thing we say to a baby? We go boo, we just. So, but yeah, he was, and Psycho I think it has been deemed as his best film.
I think it's his best. I mean, I personally love North by Northwest.
Yeah, me too.
And
The
you know,
Birds. I
and
love
the
The
birds.
Yeah.
But
Rear
for some,
Window.
I love Rear Window. But for some reason, it also, when people talk about Alfred Hitchcock, it's always Rear Window and Birds and or Psycho. Like those are the top three
And maybe
people.
Vertigo.
And
Yeah.
maybe Vertigo, but
All classics.
all classics.
Well,
Yeah.
This movie was written by Joseph Stefano. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, he's the screenwriter, and
Yeah.
it was adapted from a novel by Robert Bloch. And
Yeah.
He made a bunch of novels, kind of pulp novels, sort of like.
Yeah, like back in the day.
Who's the guy now who writes like, I think Snowpiercer was.
Oh yeah.
But like just churns out.
Oh yeah,
Horror
like the
novel
ones
after
in the
horror novel
the
after
ones in
horror
those
novel.
magazines back in the day, like the pulp magazines, kind of like that.
No, it's just like, take like Goosebumps or something like that, where somebody wrote like.
Oh,
a
I get
bunch
you.
of them. There's just like, yeah,
P.S. Goosebumps was awesome.
that's my own fault.
P.S. Goosebumps was cool. But
Yeah.
it's written really beautifully. Like the characters are like they don't feel like with sometimes with a movie like this being like way decades back. Sometimes the dialogue can be
Hokey.
hokey.
It's
and-
hokey. It
yeah.
is hokey, but
It
It
is.
is, yeah,
But it works.
It works a
yeah,
lot.
because it sets up the violence. Because you're used to this just like kind of hokey dialogue where you're like, what does this have to do with anything? And it just kind of slowly builds to when you get to the Bates Motel and everything is complete
Yeah.
opposite.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I, and I like that it doesn't jump right in. I like that there's the plot of that she's stealing the money, and that, like, it's like you and I kind of debated about whether that's kind of subtle or not. But I mean, it's the first half hour. It's like she's stealing money, and then that kind of leads into the Bates Motel
Horror
plot,
thing. Yeah.
if you will.
It kind of for people who don't know, who have never seen it. It's going to start off like
First of all, you should stop this right
yeah,
now
and go watch
see
it.
it.
I don't know how we could not spoiler this. So like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
stop the thing now. Stop
Right.
the video
We'll
now
be here
and
when you
watch
get
it.
back.
We promise.
We'll wait.
Okay, we're back.
Okay, we're back. And no, when you first watch this movie and you don't know what is going to happen, you're like you know nothing about like going in this movie blind. You see her steal the money and like try to get away with it. You're going to think it's just a crime movie.
But I think it's like in terms of being hokey, I think and you and I talked about this, is like the music helps set the tone because
without
the music, depending on what kind of music you had, it would be completely silly.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
And like fun trivia fact, the iconic shower scene didn't have any music when they originally shot it, and the composer wrote a score, and Hitchcock heard it, and he was like, "Okay, I have to use it."
Yeah,
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
and it
amazing.
works.
And now it's one of the most, if not the most iconic horror scene.
Everyone knows what you're talking about when you go. "Bree, bree,
Yeah.
bree,
Yeah.
bree, bree."
It's been parodied so many times. It's been homaged and parodied so many times in film and TV and
Because it's creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy.
Because who among us still doesn't like every so often check the shower curtain to make sure there's no murder? Like,
I'm
You don't?
consistently scared, and it's all because of this movie. So
Yeah,
thank you.
it really
Alfred
is.
Hitchcock, for
Yeah.
ruining showers.
Thank you for scaring the absolute bejesus out of
Yeah,
us.
for fearing showers.
Let's talk about Anthony Perkins in this role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he
Plays
was
Norman Bates, by the way.
Yeah, he plays Norman Bates, and this movie was kind of a departure for him, and he's very good in the movie. He displays kind of a nervousness, but not panic, and it makes you like question his motives. I mean, you're wondering about him the whole.
Oh
movie.
yeah, the way
And
he
you
like.
don't- I feel like he's sympathetic in a way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you think his mother is this like demanding person who's constantly on his case,
Yeah.
and that's kind of made him how he is. Of course, that kind of unravels as the movie goes.
Oh
But
yeah.
And I think if I remember right, he had trouble getting work after this movie because it was so iconic.
Like
This-
everyone just sees Norman Bates.
yeah.
And they'll just be creeped out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like how could you not be?
Yeah.
he did such an amazing job with like his facial expressions.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
1 second he would be like really solemn, and then another second he would kind of be giggling, and nothing's really
Yeah.
funny, and it's like.
And
And like knowing with his face, like he would kind of move his face with the light, and you would get these like shadows underneath his cheeks.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like black and white, having the movie in black and white really
helped that.
accentuated that.
Yeah.
It made it look even more creepy.
Yeah, because he did not have to do this in black and white. You should know by 1960 there was color. Like you could make color movies.
Yeah.
He chose black and white,
Well-
which if he didn't, I don't think it would have done. I don't think the movie would have. I don't think it would have worked. if it
I
was
don't know.
color.
I think it would have worked. It just would have been a different.
Feel to it.
Yeah, it would have been an entirely different
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, hence the 1998.
And
No,
I
we're
mean-
not even gonna ever talk about it. But he wanted it to be low budget. He wanted it to be.
it was under $1 million, wasn't it? It was shot
Yeah,
for
it's
under
under
$1
$1 million, and he wanted it to
Dang.
be an easier shoot because he used like his TV people from Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, watch that too.
And it was like a 30-day shoot
Yeah.
for this movie.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and plus, blood in black and white. You can use chocolate syrup.
Yeah,
instead.
exactly. Which is what they
You can
did.
argue it's you won't see the red. Well, how do you know that it's blood? I mean, let's show more of it.
Yeah.
Janet Leigh in this movie plays Marion Crane. I think before who's the Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis. Before Jamie Lee Curtis was a scream queen, I think Janet Leigh was because I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was
Superb.
and
Well, her and Vera Miles, who's the sister,
Yeah.
who has the scream at the conclusion of the movie.
Yeah.
That scream is amazing.
That is like,
That you have to nail that because if you sound like,
if you sound like you're faking it,
or if
you're
it
gonna
sounds
know.
like, I don't know, it seemed natural.
Yeah, it did.
Oh yeah, it does. It didn't seem like.
And is-
oh, scream!
And is
Like,
it any coincidence that the females are blonde? I mean, it's well known that
Hitchcock
Hitchcock
loves
had
blonde.
a thing for
Obsessed.
blondes, had a thing for blondes.
Yeah.
And, blonde women and dark-haired men in every single,
Yep.
pretty sure every single Hitchcock
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, most of them anyway. There's a couple brunettes thrown in here and there.
Right.
But they don't have main roles.
How does
It is.
who does John Gavin play?
Sam,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Loomis.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
the boyfriend.
The boyfriend of
Which, by the way, in the beginning of this film, it's in a bedroom and it's an affair. Well, not technically an affair.
He's already
not
divorced.
married anymore, but it's risque for that time.
Oh,
For us
yeah.
to go, the first thing we see is the afterwards.
Afterwards.
the after sex.
The after. I was gonna say like.
It's like the
post-coital.
aftermath, but it's like the aftermath.
Yeah.
And she's scantily clad and he's scantily clad, and you're like, what's
And
going on?
that was really kind of risque, especially for that time.
But
Oh
I-
yeah.
Yeah, and I love that she's in like a white bra and panties, and then later when we get kind of the catalyst for this whole film, when she steals $40,000
yeah.
from her work,
Yeah.
she's putting it in a black bag. She's
Right.
wearing a black bra. It's very black and white. It's like
Good
Yeah.
and evil.
very obvious.
Good and evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think his character is all that useful to the story, though.
Her.
No,
Sam?
Yeah, Sam.
Oh,
Loomis?
Sam.
Sam Loomis.
Well, she has to have a reason to want to steal the money,
Yeah.
and someone
That's
has to go
true.
looking for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but
And
that's
he
all.
kind of instigates the sister to go look for her too.
I guess I
Well,
just I
she's-
never
the
really
sister is the one who wants to
Yeah.
actively.
I never really just liked that character. I think that that's all he's there to do.
Well, I told you Hitchcock called him a stiff,
Yeah, that's true.
and he is kind of like
He is kind of just there.
Yeah, he
like
really
this
is.
guy.
This guy over here.
When he's like holding her shoulders and he's like, "Well, we can turn the picture of your sister
Yeah.
towards the wall."
Oh, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, and send your sister to the movies.
that's the hokey part. He was half the hokey.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was half the.
He was a hokey. Oh, I'm not going to do it.
Well,
I'm gonna say hokey pokey. but
oh God, please
Dear
don't. Now let's move on to directing.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Naturally, I mean, how could you not? Alfred Hitchcock is one of the most iconic directors of all time.
Go deep.
And Jeez.
What the hell is that?
That was my terrible Alfred Hitchcock impression.
But I think
You
it's
have to,
the shower scene is interesting because I remember reading in a couple places that Janet Leigh wasn't like in the shower scene. Janet Leigh wasn't reacting properly, or the way that Hitchcock wanted her to.
Yeah.
So he was just like, get the fuck in the shower, and he just randomly,
That's a quote.
yeah, it really is.
I'm just
Alfred,
just-
quote Alfred Hitchcock. Get
yeah,
the fuck in the
get
shower.
the fuck in the shower, and Hitchcock was just like randomly placing his hand with the knife. I'm not sure if it
Fake
was.
knife.
There's nothing to prove that.
Yeah, but there's all. But
But I'm just saying he randomly put his arm in places, and that's why her screams were so natural, and that was like really scary for her.
But I mean, that scene is so amazing because it's like 90 cuts, and
oh yeah.
Yeah, and you and I were watching that thing where every time he stabs, it cuts
it's a
to
cut,
yeah.
Yeah.
which is ironic and cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the I like that it's from different angles.
Oh
Yeah.
You're like you're under the arm, you're to the
You're-
side of the arm.
You're
and
over.
it's like,
You're over her head. You're behind
there's the
it.
silhouette, then there's
And then there's the
Leigh,
fuzzy boob shot.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
which I noticed instantaneously.
yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I went fuzzy boob.
She did.
Quote.
She
Hannah,
really did.
Hannah Sutter, 2014. Fuzzy boo.
That's exactly what happened. I'm
When I
telling
have success later on in life, this will come back to haunt me.
you. Now, like we said, it was shot for like under $1 million. It wasn't completely black and white. Like you could,
There are tints of color.
yeah, like the car is just
There were tits of color.
They're tints. I said tints, not tits.
we just.
I'm sorry.
Fuzzy boob.
This is just
Fuzzy
a
boob.
this is just a casual show today, folks.
I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Um,
Who got killing off early? The I can't remember.
Marion Crane.
Right.
So
The main character.
one of the biggest things about this movie that I like is that the twist is in the first act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's two twists, obviously, but
There's two
one in the
twists.
first act, and
Yeah.
that's a big twist because if you're going to see Janet Leigh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's the
That's-
protagonist.
Yeah. Oh, and then
Nope.
Nope.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
So
She
she's
gets
dead
killed
now.
off at the end of the first act, and now your main character is Norman Bates.
Yeah, that's why I like this movie because you go into it like maybe if you know nothing about it, you go into like oh it's just this crime drama probably, and then instantaneous it's this horror slasher flick.
And I like that it's almost from his perspective for a
Yeah,
while. We
yeah.
see him picking up the body,
yeah,
and it feels
Like he's done it before.
yeah, like he's done it before. You see, you can
Yeah.
tell that he has done like he's you see when he like when he's like picking up this like cleaning up the scene, he has a routine.
Yeah.
And it's so that's
the creepiest
That's the
part.
It is-
creepiest
it
part.
is the
He
creepiest
has
he
part.
fixes a frame. That's when I
routine.
knew that it was kind of weird.
Yeah, he
He
fixes
puts
this.
the frame up, fixes it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has this routine, and that's the creepiest part. 'Cause it's like, oh god, he's done this before, hasn't he?
Right.
And you're like, and then that makes the audience go, how many more has he killed? What?
The thing that always
Or has his mother killed
Or has his mother
and
killed?
he's cleaned up after.
That's
yeah.
true.
When I, and this is, like we said, this is just like spoilers. The thing that always got me, like when I watched the movie for the first time, the thing that always got me suspicious was you never actually see Anthony Perkins and his mother talking to each other. You hear the voices, but you never actually see. And I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's-
thing happened where I thought for a second there was something off about that,
Yeah.
and then you saw her in the window and he was down below. So then I instantly was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
there was a shot where he was talking to someone and there was
Right.
a silhouette of her
Yeah.
in the window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very smart.
That was very smart.
the other breadcrumb I like was kind of like when she steals the money, and then she trades her car in so that nobody can find her.
P.S. We had a big discussion about that when we watched it. We were like, what is the point of this?
And then we found
And
out.
then we found out why.
And then you find out that the money gets stuffed in the trunk, and Janet Leigh gets killed, and then he sinks the car. And I'm like, the $40,000 is in the trunk. What are you doing? Like, there's just sunk $40,000.
Which was really like $300,000 or something.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know what it was? It was the money that Anthony Perkins got paid to do the role.
$40,000. That's how much he got paid. So weird. So awkward.
This is weird. Hey, you're sinking your paycheck.
Shall we get to our favorite scenes?
Yes. Yes, we should.
You want to go first?
Oh, why not? I'm on the sheet.
He's on the sheet.
Who's on the sheet?
I'm on the outline first. That's it. A little fourth wall joke. My favorite scene in this movie. I mean, there's a ton. I mean, the scene that I was gonna go with the scene that always kind of made me jump and scare me was the scene when he stabs the detective, like when he comes out of the right.
Oh yeah.
When he comes out of like the right doorway, and then he stabs the detective. That
I
for some
love that
reason,
shot.
it's
Yeah,
a great,
that's a good
it's a great
shot.
overhead shot. I was gonna go with that because that always scared me, but I gotta go with, like, as a filmmaker, I gotta go with the scene when Norman and Mary are in the like cabin, like main the office cabin together, and they're sitting there eating, and then they're doing this casual talking or whatever. Like, he's being really creepy, but he's not giving off like a creepy vibe yet. Like, he's been giving off maybe nervous vibe that
then he
or
gets
just socially awkward.
just
like,
socially awkward
talk to
vibe.
people.
So you're thinking, okay, and then she mentions his mother.
Yeah, and then he gets all.
And then he leans forward, and then he starts talking about his mother in these really this really creepy tone,
defensive,
like scarily defensive.
We all go a little mad.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and the shot, but before she gets to his mother, it's just a head on, like a straight shot of just a one person, just him in the front, her front of him shot, like just transitioning back and forth. But as soon as she mentions the mom and he leans forward and he starts defending her very violently, it switches shots from like a face, like a full on right into the face, to a side, to a profile with this giant big wingspan owl over his head in like the corner of the room.
And the shadows
and
on
the
it.
shadows on it, and you
what's
see
the
it staring
what's
right
the term for that?
at him.
When they stuff animals. It's
taxidermy.
we should be clear. This wasn't a real owl that was just
Oh, no,
flying
it's
above
a
his head.
taxidermied
It
owl.
was
It's
a
a
stuffed owl.
that he enjoys stuffing things, as he says in the movie.
Yeah.
But it's this big taxidermy owl, like this giant wingspan, looking at him, like straight at him.
Yeah.
And he's like talking about his mother being defensive, and I love that because it's almost like it's a metaphor for how overbearing he still thinks his mother is, and how his mother, even though his mother is still staring at him, always watching, and it's creepy.
It really is.
It's a great looking shot, and just the metaphor behind that shot just makes me go, oh, it's so good. Like during the movie again.
And two of the best lines are in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like a boy's best friend is his mother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Is it?
That's
Is it?
that's creepy. That's creepy.
All right, your turn.
My turn. I don't have a favorite scene. Well, first of all, we all decided before the show that when we did our favorite scenes,
No shower.
we can't do the shower
No
scene
shower
because it's too easy.
No.
Everybody would say that.
Yeah. So I have a favorite shot in the movie, and it's the shot where in the scene the private investigator has come to the hotel and he's going through the logbooks of who has signed into the hotel, and there's a shot of Norman Bates and he's just like leering like over him like this.
He's like turned sideways and the
Yeah.
light is right
Yeah,
in his face.
and the camera shot
yeah.
is like high up, is like low angle, and it's looking up at him. And I'm just like, he's
Is her name written there?
yeah,
Is it?
yeah, and it's just like he's gonna kill him right, and then he doesn't do anything, and I'm just like, wow, that was close, like
Yeah.
close call.
Oh yeah. Like
Too bad he's gonna die.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Exactly.
In 2 minutes.
Yeah, and that and that terrible, terrible shot. It looks so bad.
Well, now it looks sort of.
Now it was
cheesy.
good for the time, but now it looks tacky.
But I mean, horror films sometimes have tacky shots like that.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
true.
part of the genre.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, Miss Sutter, your favorite?
What's your favorite scene?
Well, I was telling you because I find it kind of funny and creepy at the same time. After he's killed Marion Crane and he decides he's going to hide the car in the swamp,
As you do.
it's sinking and it's sinking and sinking and it stops. And he has this moment where he's kind of like nervous.
Oh,
And like, is it going to sink? What am I going to do now?
Shit.
Shit. And then it goes back down to sinking and he gets the creepy smile,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite things he does throughout the whole
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I feel like every time he does it, it's weird.
Yeah.
So I really like that. And I like that it's a
Thank
full
you, Austin.
shot. It's a full shot, and I don't know, it makes him start to feel a little bit more larger than life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has those shoulders.
Yeah.
He's very lanky.
Oh, yeah. A very lanky
Very lanky.
guy.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, time to get to the ending.
Now let's get to
'Cause
the
I
ending.
can't pick the ending and I can't pick the shower scene, and those are my two favorites.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
real.
everybody's favorites. We can't. So, ending. If you haven't paused this by now, thanks, Austin, to go see.
Hi,
Doodly-doo, doodly-doo,
We're
doodly-doo,
we're back.
doodly-doo.
Sorry about that.
We went really quick to change clothes
Yeah, because
This is my evil twin.
because this movie was amazing.
yeah, and I actually pissed my pants for the ending,
Because it was scary.
so
And
that's
he's
why
still
I'm
wearing
in.
his pee pants.
Yeah.
We talked about this in the back. You promised not to tell.
That was sorry.
All right. So ending of Psycho.
The ending of Psycho,
Twist ending.
twist ending. Norman Bates is the killer.
And Norman Bates is his mother.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
And the reveal of that is so excellent.
It's so
is.
great.
It is.
It
Because
is so great.
You see the hair first, kind of.
Yeah,
And
like, you
then
see, like, the-
when he does this,
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like an extended period of time that you're looking at
it's
him doing
scary
this.
as shit.
It's scary as hell.
That
Like,
makes me really uncomfortable. The duration of the time he's just going
yeah,
like this.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
why that
it's
freaks me
weird.
out.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
It does.
And then the
then-
lights doing this.
Yeah, it's just a light on,
So
on
it's
the,
Okay,
like
seriously, that's
shining.
freaking me out.
and it's just a light like on like a wire in the
Yeah,
cellar. Like
and then
a
the
pull.
sound, the iconic sound that.
And then the big thing, it you turn and the camera turns and you see the corpse of Mother Bates, and it's just the lighting on the face.
Oh, it's excellent.
It's
Yes.
excellent.
And
Yes.
I feel
It-
like it influenced a lot of later
It
things.
did. I feel like it did too, because it stays on that shot for another uncomfortable amount of time, which seems like forever. And
They're
then
like, oh
yeah,
god,
and
we were lucky enough to see two people seeing the ending of Psycho
yeah,
for the first time.
Yeah.
Like Sarah saw it for the first time, and Katie saw it for the first time, and we were all just like,
yeah, we're all just like, yeah. But no, it's like, and then after that's revealed, it fades to the police station where Norman Bates has been capped, where he's been apprehended, and you see that the cops are talking, and then
we get a 5-minute explanation.
yeah, we get a 5-minute
Yes.
exposition about how Norman killed his mother, and that because she was going out, she was dating another man, and he didn't like that, so he killed her, and then he couldn't deal with the loss of his mother, so he kept his mother, inside him. I should say inside him,
Ew.
and it's weird, and
Ew.
he dresses like her and whatever, and then they say that this big event, Norman's not there anymore. It's all his mom now.
Yeah.
It was a split personality kind of thing, and that one personality, his mom's personality, is completely taken over, and that's not Norman anymore.
I just want to say, if there's any singular shot from the film that I love so much, it is. I just want it framed. The shot of Norman Bates just looking at the camera.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And smiling.
And you know what's so interesting about it is that there's so much light
Yes.
on his face.
Yeah.
There's no shadow,
Yes.
and yet him just doing this is so scary.
Yeah, and
I just want it
yeah.
framed. It's
And-
And,
my
and the
fav-
voice is so
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
She.
I'll
would
never
not-
harm a fly.
Oh.
Oh
And
god.
my favorite part of that is that it does a semi-quarter fade to the dead mother face.
The
Yes.
skull
In the middle, like the skull.
That was
Yes.
fucking cool. Do you remember I paused it and I was like, that!
yeah.
That!
That's
That
the
is
fucking
the
buzz.
fucking buzz.
That's the fucking
We did it. I knew we wanted to do it. We all did
That's
it.
the fucking buzz! We
Oh.
should say that in a movie theater anywhere, anytime something amazing
Yes.
happens.
Yes.
That's the fucking buzz.
Yeah. And I find the one guy not getting off, and I get him off.
That's the fucking buzz,
Man. In all seriousness, it is like that. And then they.
That's what we film like.
we
lovers
film nerds love.
We just like do one of these.
It's like
Yeah, so sorry about the floor.
yeah,
being
like my
sticky.
body is ready, kind of stuff.
My bad.
And
I
then
just
it goes
got
to fade
bicep.
out, and then it ends with that. Like you have that, and then it fades out to
Sorry,
them extracting the car from the swamp. Like they're extracting the car from the swamp, and it's
Yes.
just the end.
Side note: anyone who's seen Fried Green Tomatoes, there's a homage to this when in the beginning of the film they pull a truck out of the water.
Ooh,
Yes,
I kinda
because of
want-
a major crime that's occurred, and you figure out how the car got there.
I kind of want to go home and watch that now.
Nice.
Boom, done.
Boom.
But yeah, that's Psycho because Psycho is amazing, and you
Yes.
should watch it if you already
Because
have it.
Hitchcock is God
Because he's one of them.
or a God,
He's one of the
a
gods.
cinema God.
Yeah, he's one of the gods.
Um,
But man,
So, yeah, this is the end of Psycho,
seeing the movie crunch.
and so you should watch after this one. You should watch Frailty because that's
Yeah,
the one we were supposed to do.
yeah. And again, we're trying to incorporate like add it to your new movie collection, rent it from a friend, or just skip it entirely. This is add this to your movie collection, and not only add it, buy it with the whole, like Miss Sutter has.
Oh, God,
the
it's awesome.
Whole anthology of Hitchcock's films.
God.
Just buy them all.
On Blu-ray, so spiffy.
I just
Oh,
want
man.
to say that every movie that we have covered on this show, I personally own.
I want to
Some
say
of
that.
them, I'm not too keen on owning. I must say,
You
but
should
I'm
just sell them.
I'm a cinemaniac, so it's.
Cinemaniacs.
That was nice.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I want to make a shirt now.
So I own both good and bad movies.
Can I pitch our little film scene that we're gonna do?
Yes,
Yeah.
Just to share with the general public.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Go ahead.
Princess Bride, which we've covered on this program.
That's another one of those ones you should
on
own.
an earlier date. Yes. Fucking own it.
If you haven't seen it,
Screw you.
Stop
Now go see
listening
it.
to
Love you.
us.
Just kidding. Just see
Go
it.
out and freaking watch.
if you have a friend who hasn't seen it, tell them not to go to work or wherever they're going and sit down and
And you
watch
know
it.
what? I'm not much on the burning or copying thing, but if you have a friend that owns
If
it,
you have to do that.
have them burn it and copy it for you.
Because you need to see this.
But it's amazing. And there's an excellent duel. In fact, I think it's my favorite duel in all of cinema.
It's one of the
That's
longest
including
sword
Star
fights.
Wars
I
and
I think it
everything.
actually is the
longest sword fight in
So,
cinema.
yeah, because we can't do anything easy. That's what I am going to be filming for one of my classes. And these two fellas are going to be my
I get to be Dread
Inigo
Pirate Roberts.
Montoya and my Dread Pirate Roberts. However,
Killed my father, prepare to die.
we're going to put a slight twist on that.
Yes.
Because of the recent
Yes.
Star Wars episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Yes.
We're all in a big Star Wars mood here.
We're doing
We're all in a big Star Wars mood.
We're doing it with lightsabers.
We're doing it with lightsaber.
And we're doing it with Star Wars music in the background.
Prepare thyself. So get excited. That's all I have to say.
Get stoked. Okay, so again,
Did you say get stoned?
get stoked.
Oh, stoked. Get stoked.
But you can do that too if you want.
This is our ending to
Psycho.
Psycho.
And that's gonna do it for Movie Crunch. I'm Eric O'Donnell,
I'm Nate Schaffner.
Hannah Sutter.
and we'll see you at the movies.